Alright, so you ever have the ultimate it'll happen when you're ready for it moment? Because how many bad dates or poor excuses of relationships have we all had screaming, "What the actual fuck was that?" Thinking that that person was the right one for you until it crashed and left you thinking that you were the problem? But weirdly, in my life, things are seeming to look up, which is weird because as of a few months ago, shit was not going according to plan. And how many times have I asked if I'm actually making the right choices and if this is the path that I'm meant to take? But I'm going to get into this story and you tell me if it doesn't answer the question of it'll happen when you're ready. I don't know if Field of Dreams was just about building a baseball field for a bunch of ghosts now, because if you build it, they will come. I'm also starting to think that it was referring to the building blocks in your own life that will allow the right things to come into it. So, I'm in training at the restaurant, and this is now, just about a month ago now? And I wasn't even supposed to be on the floor that night. I was just shadowing food service. The plan was get in, learn about the food, and bounce. But fate, or rather my coworker with a subtle matchmaking ambition, had other plans. She worked and then she said that she was going to come back in for a girls' night with her friends because her friend isn't too sure about the guy that she's seeing and he's giving her mixed signals. And even though her friend and this guy had plans for the next day, her friend still wasn't too sure about the guy, so they went out to kind of, I guess, talk it out or whatever. And naturally, I'm like, cool, have fun. I'm out after training. I got a ghost of a podcast that I got to record. Plus, also, let's be real. Usually, I want to say 60% of the time when it's a quote unquote girls' night, it's always the ugly friend who comes along. I doubted that I would be missing much. But I end up staying much later than I anticipated because after my shift, I was just kind of hanging out with my coworkers. And right when I started thinking about dipping, my coworker walks in with her friend. And bro, I'm fucking floored. This chick had a gorgeous smile, bright eyes, total curveball. Was not expecting that. And I'm sitting there like, damn! Maybe I will stick around, because I got a thing where I refuse to get involved with coworkers. But I never said their friends were off limits, right? Because this chick was just cute as hell. So we start talking, and I ask her how she knows my coworker, what she does, and she drops, "Oh, I used to be a semi-pro rock climber, but that ended after I got injured. But I managed at a rock climbing gym. Once that closed, I started working at a cafe, which is where I am now." And I'm like, well, that explains the body because Jesus! I'm trying to be chill, but internally, again, I'm just like, damn! So I started asking about her other interests, and we go back and forth. We end up vibing so well that my coworker even was like, all right, wow. Now I feel like I'm the one who's third wheeling here. And it's like, yeah, no offense. Fucking go to the bathroom or something. Because now you're not only guarding the view, but I'm actually interested in your friend now. Fuck that other dude that she has plans with. But I'm also not trying to be too pushy, because what if she is still interested in this guy that she already has plans with? But that don't mean that she can't be at least thinking about me while she's out with this guy, right? So the next shift that I'm on with my coworker, I'm like, yo, how did your friend's date go the other night? And she's like, yeah, no, she's definitely not interested. I'm like, hell no, she wasn't if I got the vibe on me right. So I'm like, all right, well, how about you give her my number? But she doesn't even have to. Because who strolls in not even 2 hours later, but her friend from the other night? And you know what she does? She leaves a receipt with her number on it before she leaves with a note that says, give the mic. And you know what? As she should. I can't help the fact that I'm just adorable. But I will be honest. Bro, I haven't chased anything that fast since the last time I did a bad tequila shot. I haven't drank in 2 years now almost, but I still remember how Cuervo goes down, and it ain't great. Fucking shuddering after that shot like you do when you hear a bad ex's name, like, ugh. But then we start texting. Texting turns into calls. Calls turn into dates. And I'm starting to realize, wow, I'm actually super into this chick. But also, how sneaky my coworker was. Because when my coworker's friend told her that she was on the fence with this guy that she had her plans with, she was like, you know what? You should come in to meet the new guy the restaurant hired. Yours truly. Because I think you guys would hit it off. And hell the fuck yeah, we did. But here's where it gets wild. It turns out, as of this past week, I discovered that we almost matched on Bumble 2 years ago. And you guys are all probably thinking, well, how the hell do you almost match on Bumble? You either match or you don't match. Somebody didn't swipe right. Don't get ahead of me. Because she told me that she actually remembers seeing me on Bumble and swiped right. And I'm like, what? So she showed me some of her photos that she used on her dating profile. And I'm like, oh shit, I actually swiped left. But in my defense, back then, she had purple hair. I saw the she, they in the bio, and the distance was low-key kind of far because she lives closer to the restaurant that I work at. And I made assumptions. As cute as she was, I was thinking leftist liberal, we're gonna clash. I was like, yeah, no, like, she probs hates gas cars, has crystals in her bra, and would 1000% ask me what time I was born, and I wasn't just gonna date somebody that I knew we would freaking clash right off the bat. And I'm gonna own it. I totally admit that I was wrong. It turns out that she just put the they on there because she was managing a male-dominated rock climbing gym, and she wanted women and non-binary folks to feel welcome. It wasn't about the whole gender ideology or politics at all. She doesn't even give a damn about politics. It wasn't her entire personality. It was just something that she did for others. She's actually one of the most grounded, level-headed people I've ever met. So now I'm thinking, well, I was kind of an asshole for making that assumption. But this also highlights another issue with dating apps. I feel like they often reduce people to a few photos and a brief bio, leading us to make snap judgments based on limited information. These fucking platforms encourage quick decisions, which can cause us to overlook potential connections with people who might not look like quote-unquote our types from a quick glance. These apps reduce complex individuals to a few photos and a brief bio, leading us to make snap judgments based on limited information. It's so easy to forget that behind each profile is a real person with depth and nuance that a swipe can't capture. So yeah, did I learn the lesson that you can't really judge a book by its cover? 100%. But does this also low-key prove that it's better to meet someone in an organic sense than over a fucking screen? 1000%. So you know what? Fuck dating apps and thank God for bars and restaurants. If you just got the balls to have a conversation with someone. You think Gen X or generations before met people through apps? No. They met through friends, coworkers, or at social places like bars. As a society, we have become so immersed with hiding behind a fucking screen that you can't even say hi to someone in a bar, but yet you'll go on platforms like gaming services or Omegle and talk to strangers. But God forbid an actual human being is in front of you and it's like you forget how to human. Oh, and the kicker? We worked in Stanford at the same time. That's why she ended up swiping right on me, because she was working in the same area as me and she saw my profile. The last company that laid me off was a 3-minute walk to a place that I used to go and get coffee at every day, and at that coffee shop, some of those people also worked at the gym that she managed, and her coworker remembered me, because I always tipped well. I mean, I was going to that coffee shop like every day. 1, because the coffee was good. 2, because it got me out of an office that I absolutely couldn't stand being in. And 3, I also got to become kind of friendly with some of the people working there. And I was apparently known as the good tip guy. And after this dude's shift at the coffee place that I would go to, he would then run over to the gym to go work there and mention that there was this dude named Mike who always came in and tips really well. Because at that time, I was also bartending on the side, so I knew how much a tip meant, And I think it's kind of also a thing where people in service try to help out other people in service. So also, unbeknownst to me, I had already made a great impression on this chick well before I even met her. But the girl who I'm now dating's gym that she managed from where I worked was like 10 minutes away from each other. So it's just weird how there are all these little coincidences and distance approximations where we never actually ended up meeting until my first week at the restaurant. And she actually told me the other day, if you just swiped right 2 years ago, it would have saved me so much heartache after all the crazy dudes that I've dated. Like, I was actually locked in from when you said hello. And I told her, I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe we weren't supposed to meet yet. Maybe we needed to deal with our own dumbasses first. Because given where I was at the time and how I was feeling after all my bad dating app dates or poor excuses of relationships over the years, I was also still working out my own bullshit and trying to figure out what I wanted when it came to a relationship. So yeah, maybe I wasn't supposed to swipe right 2 years ago. Maybe she had to deal with her own mess and I also had to try to clean up mine. And maybe God looked at both of us and said, nah, not yet. You two aren't really done with your dumbass era. But now, I got a new job the same week that I met her. I wasn't even supposed to be working that night. My coworker just happened to bring her in. All these little weird overlaps. Stanford, where I work, the coffee shop, mutual connections. They didn't hit back then, but they do now. And now, I'm just glad that she walked into that bar and I didn't end up swiping away and was smart enough to actually say hello. And that's the thing about divine timing. God listens. He just doesn't always work on your clock. You pray and you want the answer by Tuesday, but God's like, bro, Tuesday? You're not even ready. You'll fumble this so fast it's not even funny. So he holds off. And when he does move, when he starts putting people or places in your path, that's when you realize it wasn't silence. It was a setup. Because sometimes the answer to your prayers walk in when you weren't even supposed to be working. Sorry, maybe this one was more of a real talk than punchlines. But if you're still here, then maybe you get it. Sometimes this show's about jokes. Sometimes it's just me trying to make sense of the mess. Either way, I appreciate you for being along for the ride. If this episode hit you or you've got your own we almost didn't meet but the universe said nah, it's time story, shoot me a message at lnbemedia@gmail.com or drop a comment. Seriously, comments boost the show way more than people realize. Even if it's just a thought, a fire emoji, or just Mike's kinda unwell but we like him anyway. Yeah, still, fuck you, Kevin. You think I forgot about you? But hey, you know what? I can't really be mad because it still kinda helps. So also, thank you, Kevin. But yeah, share the episode, follow the pod on Instagram and TikTok at the LNBE Podcast, and leave a review if you've got time. With that, I hope you all have a fantastic week, and we'll catch up next time.